So for many people that are feeling anxious and tired already about AI, if you think you're tired now, well, things are only going to get faster. This is the slowest the world is ever going to be. So do you treat technology as a tool of empowerment or a threat to your relevance? Are you proactively shaping the future or reacting to it as it unfolds? Can you spot new opportunities in this revolution? Or you only see threats and uncertainty? Hello? Okay, let's try that again. Hello? That's much better. I'm sure you had coffee this morning. Did you? Who didn't have coffee this morning? Wow, what a poem. It almost felt like he was reading something out of my book. Where's the young man? Well done. The future is not written in code. If I'd made you yesterday, I was going to change the title of my talk this morning. The future indeed is not written in code. And so thank you so much for bringing me here to be part of the amazing event that you guys have put together. I was hosting a 2-day conference with Oracle. So I just came back last night, and so my voice is a little bit gone. And throughout the conference, the recurring theme of the conference was humanizing artificial intelligence, right? And it's the same theme that is happening here. And it makes me quite excited, understanding that, well, we wanted machines, and now we want to humanize them. And when you hear of big guys like Oracle driving the humanizing of artificial intelligence, you get to understand that we cannot build this future without humans. The future is not built on code alone. So the recurring theme throughout many of the conferences that I've been is about the human touch, the human in the loop, which I'll be sharing most of it this morning. I suppose this is my clicker. My name is Nikki Bird, by the way. Some people call me Vicky Nerd. That works as well because I'm a bit of a nerd, you know. I am an author, and I remember throughout the conference, past 2 days that I've been, people kept coming up to me and asking, "Hey, Nikki, where are you from? Why do you talk like that?" And so I realized that in my introduction, I didn't quite give that part away. I'm originally from Cameroon, but I've been living here for almost 2 decades. So South Africa is like my second home. And the thing also is that when I go home, people also ask me, "Where are you from? Why do you talk like that?" So I'm kind of lost between two countries, right? Where am I from? So I think my accent is the combination of, you know, it's a long way to get from here to Cameroon, right? So you pass through different countries. So as I'm passing through all these countries, I'm picking out the accent, you know. So it has become something different. This is not how Cameroonians speak, neither is this how South Africans speak, so it's just my thing to clear that off. So today we're going to be talking about the new rules of relevance in an exponential world, right? And for many people, when they hear of AI, this is how they imagine AI, right? Getting us humans by the throat, choking us out. That is a mental picture that many people have around artificial intelligence. But instead of imagining AI like something that attacks you, look at AI as something that you can collaborate with, right? Reframe it as a co-pilot sitting beside you, helping you see blind spot or process complexity. Imagine AI as a tool, scaling human impact, not reducing it. And I highlight co-pilot there because it's called co-pilot for a reason, okay? Microsoft called it co-pilot for a reason. But some people actually want to make AI the pilot, which is where we have problems, okay? If it was supposed to be the pilot, they would have just said the pilot. So many people use AI as a pilot, meaning that they do not collaborate with it. They actually just hand over everything to artificial intelligence. And I remember a case where I gave a keynote in PE, and someone asked me about the case of a South African lawyer who had submitted fabricated court cases from ChatGPT to court, and he had to be fined by the court by that because those cases never existed. And then someone asked me that, should we still be using these tools if they can mislead an entire lawyer like that? And I said, listen, that was not just the problem of AI, but human error as well. You're supposed to fact check everything that AI gives to you. So don't use AI as a pilot. use it as a co-pilot, right? And the future is not humans versus machines, okay? The time in which we are living, there is no way that we can choose one and leave the other. We cannot go all AI and say, okay, we're just doing everything artificial intelligence. Or we go on the other extreme, no, it's humans. We don't want these machines. We cannot function like that. The world has completely shifted, and it has to be the combination or the collaboration of these two, the machines and humans as well. So the traditional ways of thinking or working and even interacting are being redefined by artificial intelligence. So AI doesn't destroy humanity, it demands a better version of it. So the humans that are sitting right in this room, AI is demanding something more from us. And humans and AI, of course, have different strengths, right? The relationship is more complementary than competitive. You don't try to compete with AI, you will not win at all. AI does not get fatigued. Can you compete with that? It doesn't go on a break. Can you compete with that? It can memorize like this. How many hours do you need to memorize a book? If I were to give you a copy of my book now and say, let's memorize it, would you? But with artificial intelligence, I've seen tools where they are feeding these systems books that were written long before we were even born, and they take these books and they feed artificial intelligence. It's something, it just snaps pages like this. And in 10 minutes, many books can go through those pages, and that is how it absorbs the knowledge. So you cannot compete with these systems. But human intelligence is grounded in social and emotional experiences. That is what defines us. So this is an invitation to evolve your thinking without losing your soul, without losing your humanity. It's critical to understand that. And there's a duality of AI, which is something I'm speaking about very much in my book, which is titled AI, Humanity's Greatest Frenemy. So I'm looking at the both sides of AI. When people think about AI, they usually go on the one extreme of AI, which is the Terminator model. We're going to talk about it also at some point in the presentation. But there are two sides to AI. It's not just one thing. AI is both promise and a paradox, a force capable of solving humanity's biggest problems while simultaneously creating new ones. And one of the things that I see humans trying to do is trying to escape the consequences of AI. We cannot enjoy the benefits and escape the consequences. We have to take these two as they come and find out how do we navigate the consequences. So AI is really not inherently good or evil. It's a mirror reflecting human intention. In the right hands, it becomes a tool for progress, and in the wrong ones, it also becomes a weapon of manipulation and other things. So AI is not just one thing. And there's an argument around today that AI makes people lazy. And I posted something on my LinkedIn not so long ago saying that, for me, I don't see that AI makes people lazy, right? AI simply amplifies what is there. So when a lazy person uses AI amplifies that laziness, meaning they don't have an ability to think critically, to ask AI better questions. So what AI does is, if it takes your lazy questions, it amplifies your laziness in the answers it gives you, right? If it takes your foolish questions, it amplifies that foolishness in the answers it gives you back. That is just AI. It's not going to come and say, hey, but you think you really look stupid if I give you the answer today. AI doesn't do that. It's not doing that. So for people who know how to take their time, critically think a question through, and ask AI, that's what AI is going to amplify. So instead of us blaming AI for our laziness, ask, why are you asking lazy questions, right? So the duality of AI lies in this tension, its ability to elevate and exploit, to connect and control, to awaken potential, as well as, or replace it entirely. And mindset matters, like I've just mentioned. What separates those who will thrive from those who struggle in this disruption is not access to AI. I know we talk about digital divide, but that's a conversation for another day. But mainly what will separate people today is your attitude towards AI. How do you think about AI? In an era of AI, the way you think and act has a significant impact on your career, your business, or your overall success. So the concept of think like a machine, act like a human, I'm not asking anybody here to be a robot, okay? We need that human touch. For those who find it even difficult to smile, we can easily mistake you for a Tesla robot. Okay? If we're going to be talking about a human touch, the most basic thing you can do is smile when you see someone. There are people with a 6 p.m. face. Poker face. You can't read them. You look at them, are they happy? Are they sad? That's a robotic face, okay? So if we are going to put this into practice and implement it, just try to smile. That's you being human. That's something AI can't do. AI can write a poem about smiling, but AI cannot smile. So don't be like that, where you're like, but I'm very happy inside here. It's just that you can't see it. No. So it's really about understanding when to rely on data and algorithms and when to let your instincts and creativity take over, right? Because there are times that the machine can spit something out. It might sound convincing, but when you apply your critical thinking, you are like, should I go with this? Maybe I should let this be alone. So this dual approach is the key to unlocking your full potential in this ancient time. Because AI is not just a tool, but a partner. Once you understand to balance these two and understand how your mind works in this ancient time, you will be fine. The pace of acceleration is quite scary, and there's something called AI anxiety, which is real, and there's something called AI fatigue, which is real. And this makes people very anxious about AI, rightfully so, because the world is accelerating faster than the human mind was designed to process. So for many people that are feeling anxious and tired already about AI, if you think you're tired now, well, things are only going to get faster. This is the slowest the world is ever going to be, right? We're on GPT-5. We don't know what else is going to be announced before the year even comes to an end. We don't know how 2026 is going to unfold. So this is the slowest the world is ever going to be. You see algorithm making decisions in milliseconds, that fast. And when we think of getting to AGI, that is a whole new ballgame. We're not even going there. But this doesn't mean that we should abandon our humanity. It's not the solution, okay? What makes you relevant is not your ability to compute, but your ability to connect, imagine, and act with integrity. In spite of the pace of change, that core part of your humanity is what really matters. And I'm just going to ask us a few questions here around reflecting on where you are as a person. Do you seek smarter alternative ways to do things, or keep your head buried in the comfort of what's familiar? Some people are so familiar with things, they don't want to move away. When you look at what's coming, do you feel curiosity, excitement, or fear and resistance? Where are you? Are you actively finding ways to enrich your life, your work, productivity, or simply trying to survive another day, hoping the world goes back to 2010? Can you spot new opportunities in this revolution? Or you only see threats and uncertainty? Again, how you think matters. Where does your energy go? Towards learning, adapting, creating, or towards defending what no longer works? Like, this is how we have always done it. We will continue to do it the way we have always done it. That is you defending what no longer works. Chopra had a quote which he said, there are people that defend the future or defend the past, and there are those that pioneer the future. So are you a pioneer of the future or someone who is defending the past? Do you put more effort into resisting change or into reimagining yourself within it? And I know I'm speaking to people within the education system. I was trying so hard not to go there. But when I look at how, when AI, or should I say ChatGPT, when ChatGPT was launched, the education system literally went into a cardiac arrest. Oh my God, this is going to dilute the integrity of education. And they came up with a very smart solution to ban ChatGPT from schools. And I remember being in Thailand and speaking on this. And one of the professors in the room said, well, their university had to remove that rule, that law against banning ChatGPT. I don't know about other universities, but he said they had to remove it. It was a professor from Japan. They had to remove it because if we are going to prepare the future, we have to let them play around with these tools, right? And so the question becomes, are we going to keep defending and protecting what no longer works, or we are going to make room for the disruption that is happening in the world today? And shouldn't innovation be coming out of schools and universities into the world, instead of coming from the world and the university blocks it and say, we don't want you? Under normal circumstances, these tools should be coming out of the universities and disrupting the world of work, because we're talking about the future here. So anyway, let's carry on. So do you treat technology as a tool of empowerment or a threat to your relevance? Are you proactively shaping the future or reacting to it as it unfolds? These are critical questions for you to reflect on and ask, where are you? So in simple terms, how do you think like a machine? Exponential technology demands exponential humans. You cannot afford to function on that linear pace. You will not be able to catch up, or at least be adjacent to it. Machines make decisions based on data. This means that you have to do the same. Rely on data and analytics and evidence to inform your choices. If you're making decisions today without relevant data, you probably will not make the right decisions. Machines quickly identify patterns in data. So train yourself to recognize patterns and trends in your industry. That is the power of AI. When you collaborate with it, you can see what are the trends happening in education, for example. And you make decisions based on actual data. You make decisions based on actual trends, not imagination. You don't make decisions based on how things have always been done in the past. So for you to think like a machine, you need to use the actual tools that will enable you as an institution or as an individual to make better decisions. Machines are designed for efficiency. So strive for precision in your work. By automating repetitive tasks and using productivity tools, there are people that still will not use ChatGPT or any of the AI tools. And they think that it makes their work authentic. I have bad news for you. It makes you irrelevant. It makes you obsolete. It's like refusing to drive a car to show that you have energy to walk 10, maybe 100,000 steps or something like that. It's like refusing to send your colleague an email and say, I'm coming to your address, knock, 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 hello, we have a meeting on Monday at 9:30 or something. It's the same. It's like refusing to use a calculator when it first came out. That is the new world in which we are. So don't deceive yourself that if you refuse to use ChatGPT, it means your work is authentic. No, it means you are working at the pace of a snail while someone leveraging these tools is on fly mode, right? That is exactly what that means. And so be data-driven, not drama-driven. Am I losing? Can you hear me? Be data-driven, not drama-driven. Yep. Make decisions based on data, not drama. That you know that person said this last week, it therefore means that's drama. See patterns, not problems. What are the patterns? That's what data will give you. Make decisions on evidence, not your ego. Hello? What is the evidence? Iterate fast. Perfection is a paralysis. And how do you act like a human? Creativity and innovation. Use your human ingenuity to think outside the box. Innovate and develop unique solutions to problems. Machines don't have emotions, but people do. Our emotions can be a gift and a curse at the same time. Emotions can start war, and emotions can end war. Emotions cause people to fall in love. Emotions cause divorce as well. So this is also a double-edged sword. It's a gift, but if you're not also careful with your emotions, you can cause epic disasters. So show empathy and build strong relationships with colleagues, clients, and customers. There's something I used to say that some people hate Mondays, not because they hate their jobs, but because they can't stand to go into that office once again and have to deal. You know who it is. I'm not pointing any fingers. Just look straight, just look straight. That's why some people hate Mondays. Sunday night, they are like, oh my God, I'm gonna go into that office again. quickest way for me to tell the type of culture in your organization is how do your people feel on Sunday night? I heard a story of one man who said, when I drive to work in the morning, I don't even want to drive in. I drive around the building at least 3 times. Yes. Are we talking about humanity? What is the theme of the conference? The human touch, right? If we are going to talk about the human touch, we need to be humans. People don't run away from robots the way some people run away from other human beings. So AI operates within the parameters set by programmers, but humans have the capacity for moral and ethical reasoning. Ensure your decisions are ethically sound. Ethically sound. Acting like a human is about living with empathy, communicating with authority, and making moral decisions that align with values, not just metrics. That's why I have a bit of a problem with the word HR itself. Human resources. Humans are not resources. Humans are assets. Let's not go there. The magic of human touch. This means when you collaborate with AI, 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. That's an exponential leap. It can equal 11, it can equal 22, it can equal 42, however far you want to leap. Think like a machine to stay relevant and act like a human to stay remembered. How will people remember you? In your team, in your organization, how will people remember you? Are you human enough to be remembered? This kind of collaboration leads to innovation and problem solving beyond what either could achieve independently. So, staying relevant is no longer just about having the right qualifications, but about cultivating the right mindset. If qualification is the only thing you are bringing to the table, I have bad news for you. You have to bring more than that to the table. Can you solve problems in real time? Can you adapt as fast as the world is changing? If all you are saying is that, do you know where I graduated from? Do you know how many PhDs I have? In fact, do you know I have been in this industry 20 years? Hello? Adaptability beats experience. That era where experience was everything is over. If you are not careful, your experience can become a liability. Humanizing AI. Keep humans in the loop. Yesterday, one of the speakers said something quite profound. She said, AI cannot fully replace the human touch, which got me very excited. I was like, yeah. And she put it this way. Now we're talking about agentic AIs, right, which is supposed to be autonomous. Now, agentic AI, the whole selling point of it is that this thing can do everything without human intervention, which scares me, right? Especially when someone says it can pick you a great location for vacation, cheapest flight, cheapest accommodation, and book it all on your behalf. I'm like, really? I give access to my banking details to AI? What if it hallucinates and decides to book the holiday for the entire Joburg? What if it decides to book for my neighbor that I don't even talk to? You know? So it scares me when people have to give that full autonomy to this system that can hallucinate. When people sell AI, they make it seem like it can completely eliminate errors. Humans we have our own flaws. Machines have their own flaws, right? So the whole idea of keeping the human in the loop, she puts it this way. Let the AI do the research. Let the AI do some of the strategy or whatever you might automate. But the final execution should be human. AI brings you everything you needed. A human being executes on that, especially when the decisions have to impact humanity in that process. Foster accountability and shared responsibility, okay? You cannot afford to take something from AI, ChatGPT, Copilot, or whatever model, large language model you're using. You cannot afford to take it and submit it, and when you are caught, you're like, It wasn't me, it was AI. Right? AI doesn't stand trial. AI will not be taken to court. You will be. Hello, AI won't get fired when it messes up. Guess who's getting fired? Definitely not AI. So we'll quickly look at the new rules for relevance in the age of AI. And I've mentioned some of them, but I will elaborate a bit on, which is think exponentially, not incrementally. Linear thinking creates linear progress. If it's one step after the other, you will be slow while the other people are flying. Linear thinking cannot solve exponential problems. Am I right? Relevance requires shifting from slow step-by-step evolution to bold leapfrog innovations. And relevance is no longer about a certificate or a job title. That's what you're holding on to. So think exponentially if you want to stay relevant in the world in which we are living. And speed matters more than perfection. Perfection is rooted in fear of mistakes, fear of judgment, fear of failure. But speed, on the other hand, teaches you through action, feedback, and iteration. Every launch, every test, every failure, every pivot, every data, all of this gives you data that perfection will never give you. So when you fail, that's feedback. So the speed allows you to test, learn, adapt in real time, while perfection keeps you trapped in hesitation, keeps you trapped in what if. So the key to move fast, improve constantly, and treat every version as a stepping stone, not the final product. So the most successful innovators don't aim to get it right the first time. They aim to get it real the first time, and then refine and refine and refine, instead of sitting and planning to eat the entire elephant all at once. Learn, unlearn, and relearn. Be open to learn. Be open to unlearn. All knowledge can become new ignorance. Hello? Yes, you might have been in the industry for so long. Yes, you are considered a legend. But old knowledge can become new ignorance because the world is changing so fast. Relevance has an expiry date. Keep reinventing yourself, your skills, identity, value proposition before disruption forces you to do it. Much like compounding interest, your learning needs to accelerate in line with change. So it's about continuously challenging what you know, continuously challenging your best ideas instead of staying stuck. And one of my favorite quotes is from Alvin Toffler, and he said, "The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn." This means that illiteracy is being redefined. Back in the day, illiteracy was about people who didn't go to school, people who couldn't read and write. That's illiteracy. I'm speaking to educators, am I right? But now, illiteracy is about your inability to unlearn. If you can't unlearn and you're still holding on to things that no longer work, you are considered the illiterate of the 21st century. I hope there are no illiterate of the 21st century in the room. And Henry Ford said, anyone who stops learning is outdated, whether at 20 or at 80. Learning keeps you relevant. Learning keeps you young. And there are people with a mindset that say, I'm not a tech person. You have these conversations around technology, they're like, I think this is for the IT department. That is not for me. I'm not in IT. I'm not interested in these conversations. That is a terrible mindset to have in this age and time. That era where conversations around technology was for the IT department is over. If you have a smartphone in the house, you are a tech person. And saying, I'm not a tech person is like saying I'm not a learning person. That's the interpretation of that statement. No one is born a tech person. Is there anyone in the room, the day you were born, doctors looked at you and said, you look like a communication specialist? That's what you do, right? I see I'm running out of time. No one is born a tech person. So understanding AI is not about building robots or coding complex algorithms. But you simply just need to understand how is it impacting your industry. Ask questions like how is AI impacting the education department or system, and how do I need to evolve as a person within that segment so that I can stay relevant. Adaptability over experience, I've mentioned this, and benefits of being adaptable. Adaptability increases your value in a constant changing environment. Because I'm running out of time, I'm going to run through my next slides of presentation quickly. So you need to adapt as fast as the world is changing. And there's an important point here that I want to make: collective intelligence, right? Which thrives on diversity of thought, diversity of skills, backgrounds, and even algorithms, okay? It's the recognition that no single mind, human or artificial, holds all the answers. It is when you collaborate, you have this collective intelligence. And emotional intelligence outrank our IQ. I've spoken a bit about emotional intelligence, so I will not go much deep into that. But emotional intelligence is the glue that holds human ecosystems together in an era of digital acceleration. IQ can get you the job, but it is emotional intelligence that will help you keep it. Few people get fired for low IQ. Very few people. In fact, I don't even think I've heard any statistic that this person was fired for low IQ. People get fired for low emotional intelligence, right? So, purpose outlasts position. You need to have a purpose that you're striving towards. So much so that even if your job title were to become irrelevant, your purpose stays in position. And curiosity is a currency. In a world of constant change, the most valuable mindset is the one that keeps asking better questions. The better questions you can ask, the more opportunities you will find. So curiosity is a skill in this age and time. And there's a gap between education and intelligence in this age and time. The systems we've built to measure intelligence, systems like exams, certifications, titles, are being outperformed by algorithms that never went to school. How do we adjust as an education if this is the competition we are facing up to? If our education system don't evolve beyond the outdated narrative of go to school, get a job, and live happily ever after, we risk leaving millions of brilliant young minds behind if we keep teaching the same thing. My grandparents were told the same thing: go to school, get a job. My parents were told the same thing: go to school, get a job. I was told the same thing: go to school, get a job. We need to change that narrative at some point, because the world is changing so fast. So the real divide will not be between the educated and the uneducated anymore. It will be between those who can think critically in real time and those who can only repeat what they have been taught. Relevance is rented, and the rent is due every day. In an exponential world, relevance is a moving target. You can't reach and say, oh, finally I've arrived. I no longer need to bother. You can't do that. It's not a permanent status. It's a subscription that you need to keep renewing. Who has DSTV subscription or ChatGPT subscription? You have to renew. It's about constantly updating your mindset. And even experts must become perpetual students. There was a talk I gave not so long ago, and I said, do not employ graduates. That's a conversation for another day, because graduate is a permanent state. I am a graduate. No, organizations will be looking for perpetual students, not graduates. So what is your perception of AI? For many people, when they hear the word artificial intelligence, they think of the Terminator. We've watched the movie, right? And we've heard the talks of doom and gloom around AI. So the Terminator model of AI shows AI as, the view is that AI is dangerous, is uncontrollable, and it will replace humans. The focus is done on job loss, surveillance, deepfakes, and more. But there's also another model of AI, which is the Iron Man model, which is what I want us to focus on, right? The Iron Man model, the view is that AI is a powerful assistant that augments human capabilities, not replaces them. For those who have watched the Iron Man movie, you see that when Tony Stark puts on the suit, it doesn't replace him. Am I right? He is still the one inside the suit, pressing the buttons, telling the machine where to go. So instead of looking at AI only from the Terminator perspective, look at it from the Iron Man perspective and the power it can do when you leverage that. Tony Stark on his own is a genius, like many geniuses sitting in the room today, but he is limited. But with the suit on, he's stronger, he's faster, and more capable of solving problems at scale that no human can do on their own. So the suit doesn't replace him, like I've said, it enhances him, making him 10x better, 10x more productive, 10x more creative. So with you feeling like they're shoving it down your throat, I would say it's a mindset thing. It's how you are seeing it. I don't think anyone is really shoving it down anyone's throat. It is just that the revolution is here, and you adapt, or you stay left behind, which is, I guess, is a word you don't want to hear. So if I may ask, how often do you go to the bank? Exactly. That's my point exactly, right? So that is the thing. We are in that era where when the bank started digitizing, there were people that would not do anything on the phone. They were like, no, I have to speak to a teller, and they would go to the bank. They resisted, and eventually they adapted, right? But with AI, the challenge or the problem is that it is moving so fast. It's not taking that many years for adoption, like maybe the digitization of the banking system. That is why for those who are waiting for the adoption curve, before they can step on board, they may risk being left behind and not really understanding the revolution at all. It's the same with the car. When the cars came or were invented, people were like, we love horses. What are these? And cars brought their own problems, right? It doesn't mean that AI is perfect. Maybe now I'll be answering it together with your own question. Cars brought their own problems. What are the issues with cars? These things can have accidents on the road and kill us. And when initially cars were invented, there were no seat belts. When fire was discovered, there was no fire department. Okay? So we are still figuring this out. Where's the lady who asked the question from this end? Okay, many of us are still figuring it out. Everyone in the room is still figuring it out, because to be honest, as much as it seems magnificent and big and insane, this is still the infancy of AI. When you read into the future of what AGI can do and what superintelligence can do, that is a whole different ballgame. But even right now, as much as we are so worried and overwhelmed, this is still the beginning of it. But my point is that as the fire came, caused a lot of destruction, and the fire department, extinguishers were put in place, many things will be put in place to make sure that AI is safe. But even with the fire department in place and the fire extinguishers in place, how many people die in fire every year? Even with the seat belt, because when the car was invented, there was no seat belt. Even now with the seat belt, how many people still die on road accidents? So as many regulations will come in place, it will not eliminate entirely the dangers with AI. So you cannot completely say, I wouldn't use it because it still has some dangers in it. You just have to learn how to navigate the dangers. Learn how to make sure that your output, when it's finally out there, it doesn't have mistakes that can land you in problems or land you in jail. That is where the human touch comes in. That's where critical thinking comes in. If you're going to avoid AI because it has dangers, you might as well not drive, because you could die on accident. And I will leave it there. Thank you.